All right. Peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. I'm back one more time. Yes, people. One more. And we're going to get in. Ready? Let's get it. Are you ready? Let's get it. Peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, you know who it is. Your brother Talib from the Brother Talib Show. Yeah, one more time. Last time, also, this happens to be soon to come my holy month of Eid, the Eid celebration, the biggest Eid that we celebrate and commemorate the likes of the action of Ibrahim with his son Ismail, his oldest son, uh, Ismail, in the sacrifice that was done, and then Allah, because Abraham showing such of his faith, Allah allowed him to spare his son Ismail from being sacrificed. This was a test. It wasn't like Allah was going to actually allow him to sacrifice his son for him, but he was testing his faith. And so showing that his faith was strong, that he was going to go through with it, and even his son said to do so because they were very faithful men. And Allah said, spared him, said, no, you passed. In other words, in paraphrasing, you passed this test. You can go on with your life with your son until of course, and his son can live. And so what Allah told him to do is to slaughter a lamb in his name, in Allah, Bismillah, Zabiha, slaughter, and then the lamb was slaughtered, and they ate of the lamb and gave some to some of their neighbors that lived within their area, and so forth. And this became a tradition in Islam, especially even before Islam. It was with the Yahuds, with the Israelites. Um, they did it in a different way, but they commemorated this as well. So it's coming up. It's called Eid al-Adha, and I want to, calm myself down. I want to get away from all this mess and foolishness and this. But I had to do this video. I had to do this series, and it should be more to finish it off. Every little stuff that she went into and the wrongs that she made, besides the good that she's done. And the good that she's done is that she spoke the truth about we harming each other. That's understood. This guy, Tippu, okay, Allah knows best who he was, how he grew up, whatever, what caused him to go and do these things and be evil like this and be a Muslim at the same time. But was he Muslim? That's the other thing. Do we have proofs and understand that if he actually stood in his deen or he just looked the look? Plenty of Arabs that are not Muslims, they dress like that, you know. So we got to get that straight too, okay? But for what we know, he was, and that he obviously was a wayward Muslim. He obviously was a tyrant, so a tyrannical Muslim. Now, like I said, Muslims are not perfect, as well as any person of any belief. But we strive to please Allah and to be better than any average human being that wants to just don't care about Allah, doesn't care about worshiping Him, and doesn't care about pleasing Him because He gave you life here. Okay, Tupu Tip didn't really care that much when he did these things, and also probably, you know, from what we can see and understand is that he didn't care about what was in his head. He let it go from one side, or if any advice was given to him against it, he didn't listen. Obviously, he had used his arrogance within his chest to think that he was better than these other people of color, African background, African descent, and go and do what he did. You know, tribal. He was tribal. That's the problem in Africa still today. That's what we're trying to work on, getting and breaking our people away from that. In these times, we got to wake up and get away from tribalism. We got to get away from crayon, Crayola, coloring stuff that the European especially made it a more prevalent thing about focusing on race and color. They were the biggest. They really projected it and expanded it through the world. And we have to stop it. For us as the people first. but I with her on that. But the way she comes is very suspicious, very covert. And I know her pattern, like I said. And later on, I'm gonna do some videos just to show proof that you don't think that Brother Tyler was just coming at her off his hip. No, I have experience with this lady. Her videos, YouTube. That experience. Don't know her as far as personal, but I know what the content that she has brought, and the streams that she has done, and the type of people that were sitting in there, and the statements they made, and it's inflammable to cause uh, harm to the Muslims and harm to the Arabs, as well as just back and forth, fighting amongst each other. This is not something that's gonna help growth. But listen what she says. I want you to hear what she says to talk about a little bit what we should be doing in relation to people like him or Arabs or so forth. They're Muslims, if they are the Muslims, doing incorrect things and acting in incorrect manners and showing disdain, as she says. But listen.
He, after doing that, made a business of it, where he took 100 men. He would take 100 men to go and capture people in different places and sell them off to different folks. This was what he did, and he profited from it, and many others profited from him just like that. I mean, many other black men profited.
Real quick, that was the actual main focal point and main foundation of slavery, was profiting and making money. So it wasn't all based on a race thing. It wasn't all based on a color of Crayola crayons. It was based on money and who can be the best beast of burden, which was African because of our strength and our, our, you know, prowess, and able to perform in these types of as being look at us, athletic as we are, but perform in an efficient manner or just productive, and allowing products to come out like farming, cotton, okay, to come out of, and tobacco, and then in the Caribbean, the different cane and different produce that was produced there, and the people were able to make money. These people were able to make money off of these, send them out to Europe, especially Europe and other parts of the world, whatever business they was doing, making money. That's what it was.
From that. We could talk about what other people have done to us, but do we understand that half of what, most of what happened to us would not have happened if we did not give them a helping hand? And that's the part that we need.
And that's the part I agree with, as well as the other parts. She's correct about that. And this is my point for us as the Muslims, that what we try to say, it's not all about our African heritage or spirituality or our ancestry and ancestors, and giving commemoration to the ancestors, because he was an ancestor. That's why she was crying and surprised, and it's hurtful to her, as she says. I don't know the genuine, if she's genuine in the likes of all that. Everybody can talk what they want to talk, but the action speaks louder than words. But I know her her pattern is what has led to why she did this video. It's not only because of that, because so many videos of these have been done, and she did videos pretty much similar to that, and she had content in her streams talking about the Arab slavery and this and like that. I mean, I was there, but why is she doing it again?
Need to understand, and that's the part that we're still doing today. Earlier, I brought up the case that, you know, today we are now sitting, we have, North Africa, all of North Africa sitting up in the AU with us. Yeah, even though they are, for the most part, showing us that they don't feel like, they don't see us as brothers. They don't treat our people as brothers when they go in those spaces. I mean, you hear so many stories about slavery still being in effect.
Again, here comes the stereotyping, not being specific and saying not all of them see us as brothers or sisters, or not all of them have that connection and acceptance of us as Africans, all within the African Union, the North Africans, they don't accept us. This is not correct. I lived in North Africa. I was accepted. Some of them, they was funny style. Some of them would say aswadi and this and like this. Chocolate. But a lot of them embraced me more, especially the ones who were religious, who we was connected by our faith. They embraced me more than the others because the others didn't have faith. And he did what he did because he obviously did not have faith in himself to avoid from doing that. Fight against his nops, his desires to wanting to be rich and many and think that this is okay. Yeah. But he's going to be held accountable. Know that, like I said, if he hasn't made tauba, he hasn't repented.
Affecting Mauritania, slavery still being affecting the Arabian, countries, and people going to those spaces and dying or killing themselves or trying to get away and cannot get away, barely escaping with their lives. We know.
And these are incidents. These are isolated situations. This is not like, because if it was a regular thing, it would be like the Rohingya in Burma, what's going on to them, what's happening to them. It would be like in China, what's going on in China. It would have been on news, like what happened in China with the Africans that got thrown out of their apartments. It would be on the news, like it happened in recently in Ukraine, and what happened to Africans that went there trying to get their education and got caught up into the whole war and how they got mistreated and disrespected and treated like low class citizens, low class people, lower class, that they didn't have rights. They didn't have rights to being removed from their, like the European Ukraines. Okay, so all of that and etc. There was other lands and other places where Africans from here that want to settle or strive to get to earn money or what have you, or for a better life, because it was too hard in their countries in Africa and so forth, and maybe sending money back, whatever, got caught up into some evil situation with the persons that they were working with. These are isolated issues, situations that they're using to really, make them so big that everybody's emotion can actually react to it and then go against people like him and me and say, no, the Muslims, they all the same, and the Arabs, they all the same, and those African Muslims too. They're the ones who bringing all the whites and everything, or whatever scenarios they want to go off of. This is how some of my stuff that I heard. You understand? So let's go on.
Know that this is happening. We go into their stores, we try to buy from their businesses, and we see the disdain. We see the straight disdain. I mean, to be honest with you, like I said earlier, when I walk into, let's say, a store like an Arab business or whatever, I feel more hate generating. I mean, I could feel.
Now you're saying you feel more hate generating more than what you get from the white racists? That's what you're trying to say? And then she said something about the Chinese. Now, did you feel, besides you feeling that disdain, did you feel to want to ask them, is there something wrong? Why do you don't smile? What's wrong? You speak up. You speak really outwardly here in front of everybody. You can't try to have a conversation and get them to understand that you're not no regular stereotype black person that they see that they don't like because they're disrespectful. You see, some of our people in those areas, in those stores, come in there and they're very disrespectful. We can be very disrespectful. I know, I'm from that. Coming in, motherfucker, yo, what's up, yo? Let me get. And if you don't get it or they don't act the way they want, that they come in the store thugged out and say to them, yo, motherfucker, give me my blunt. What? Is this much? You're crazy. What? Y'all got the, and all that type of stuff. Talk down to them, cussing them. Sometimes hit them. I've seen it. I've seen an Arab guy, Pakistani, got robbed, got his hand chopped up, stabbed up. That's what made me get up out of New York after a while, because I got tired of it, man. What did this guy do? He was going in selling shirts. They stabbed his hand up. to steal his shirts. I wanted to drop that nigga. Excuse my expression. And he was Puerto Rican. You understand? I'm Spanish too. I didn't care what he was. I just the fact that what the evil he was doing. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, let me not get riled up. Okay. Talk to the people. Communicate. You doing it here. Should have did it. Not instead of just going with your feelings out the door. Feeling some type of way if that's really what it was.
Feel the hate. It's just like when I go into like a Chinese store, I can feel the disdain. I could feel that they're taking my money, but they wish they could take it and kill me at that moment.
Kill you? How do you know they could kill you at that moment? The disdain, yeah, maybe, but to kill you, are you going to jump from disdain to killing? You know, this is what I'm saying. Extreme words, extreme statements. Let me go on a little bit more.
I can feel it. I don't feel safe. I do not feel safe. I do not feel good energy. I feel an energy of hate towards me. But yet we still hand them the money. Yet we still let them come into our spaces. Somebody mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you still hand
that
them the money.
One of the biggest companies, I think it was Miss G, shout out to you. She said something about how they have like one of the biggest shea butter businesses. And my question, disagree with her and all of her rhetoric, but was she lying? Go ahead, Miss Phoebe. I think you were in first. Oh no, Kwame was here first. Kwame, go ahead. I'm sorry. You kept going in and out, Kwame. I wasn't sure if you came back. All right, Kwame, you're breathing hard again. Hey, everybody, while Kwame is getting it together, please hit the like button.
See what I'm saying? Some weird people. But, you know, I'm not trying to joke on nobody because I'm not that type of person. I never like people joking at me, and I don't like to joke on nobody. But the point I'm saying is that they're kind of weird. You don't know where they're coming from, and stuff is coming from left field, and it's not really exact. It's like they're trying to be symbolic in what they're saying, or, you know, very, very, you know, evading what they need to say. Just be straight up. Just say, like she's being straight up. See, I can go with Gina, even though she's covert in her actions of what she's bringing and why she's bringing it, why she's saying what she's saying, and keeps it coming at, you know, this is the umpteenth video that I've seen from her doing this, coming at the Arabs, coming at the Muslims, and, you know, yeah. But anyway, let's see what else she's saying.
Please share the video and please subscribe if you haven't. I'm gonna go to Nespidi Kwame while you get it together. Nespidi, tell me what you think about what we're talking about. I don't think he even hears me. Nespidi, your mic is not on. Miss G, is your mic on? Because
people not together, man. I'm gonna say Allah is the best of planners. So you have plans, you plan, and Allah plans better. Know that. So you tried to plan to defamate the Muslims, Arabs, whatever, you know, the faith of Islam, ultimately, because they know, like I said, the connection is there. Muslim, Islam, Arab, where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was from, and the other companions, and so forth, as well as the other companions that were African, as well as even some of them were from Yahud, mostly African and Arab. Okay, so this is in Persian. So this is very, very clear. If you don't already know, if you haven't watched the video, you need to watch it. Continue to watch this video as well.
Somebody brought up in the comment section that this is happening in Haiti. It's so true. Again, there's a lot of guns going into Haiti. This is a country where people...
And that's the one that I brought up in the other video, that she wasn't being on point and bringing proof and evidences for reasons. Hold
on. Slavery hasn't stopped. Sudan, there are spaces in Sudan that people are...
Spaces. That's one way, first of all, she's been clear, not exaggerative, and said it's spaces. So spaces takes away from the amount of what you might, and everybody seems to be like this is a regular systematic thing that the Europeans have done, and even the Arabs did before the Europeans when they did the sub-Saharan slave trade, and it was a systematic in a way, and this guy Tippu played a role within that, as well as with the Europeans when they started their stuff going and making their mission to do their money making plan of systematic racism, systematic slavery. Okay, so basically she hit that point. Spaces, certain areas, not all of Sudan, not all of North Africa, not all of Arabia, right? Which is also part of Africa that was split off. But all these areas that they claim, and she said in her video, and this other lady, Cerebral, are isolated areas. Again, like the isolated issues and the isolated things that happened with people who were harmed and still and even put into in a slave type of position in their job, what they're doing, and mistreated and to the point where some of them lost their life. Right? Very bad. And those people are going to get it. And as a Muslim, I have to say that, of course, as Muslims, we have to talk against the evils of other Muslims, if they are Muslims. Again, like I said, it's not a lot of good proof, substantial amount of proof that she hasn't given. Let me go on a little bit more. I'm going to give this video just a little bit longer because I want to finish up.
In the news, we're doing so much damage to ourselves that when they finally do something, we get on here and we be like, this person did this to us, and it's funny.
Now this is some of where she gets into how we've done a lot to ourselves and caused the wrongs and is partaking in the evil that just not only just the European was doing. And then she wants to take a little bit away from Europe, the way she's done it. And it made that a little bit suspicious, like, oh, now she's, trying to downsize what the evil that the European did, or just kind of take the heat away from them and leave them alone for a while. Let's put it on us, what's going on, and that's what you got to look into when you listen. But some of the things, like I said, you do your own due diligence and you check on this lady. Stop being a blind follower. Stop being emotional, allowing yourself to be emotionally manipulated. If your emotions are going to react, they should act with clarity, not just jumping out there, boom, and then getting yourself into some situation that or following behind somebody that you really later on is going to regret, because they're not on point with everything, So anyway,
because I was sitting there and I was like, why are we not doing YouTube videos about the stuff that we're doing to ourselves?
Been doing YouTube videos. This has been going on. I've been doing it. The Muslims have been doing this. A Happy Companion, he's done videos talking about what we do wrong and what we're not doing and what we should be doing. The mistakes that we make. Come on. I don't know what she's talking about on that level.
We're not willing to be loyal to each other. We're not willing to understand that our humanity, no one else owes us any humanity but if we don't see the humanity within ourselves, if we're not willing to give ourselves that, what we are requesting from others, then we don't deserve it as a people. We don't deserve what we're asking for from others if we're not willing to give it to ourselves.
Yeah, respect and the human rights that we deserve. Right. This is what we got to do. This is what we've been trying to do. This is all the main thing that we should be doing, not professing or, pushing and promoting black nationalism, promoting extreme measures of just being focused on who we are as a people and leaving out all the others and just demonizing everybody else and making them seem like every other human being is evil or not good. No. And that we can't have any dealings with them, this and like that. As long as we build ourselves up and we're trying to get our heads together first and getting out of these diseases, mental diseases that have been perpetuated on us through slavery and all the other stuff that's gone and transpired with colonialization, everything that's been going on. We have to raise ourselves up first as a person as an individual. Then deal with other people that you can. And while you're raising yourself up, yeah, to advise or give others and let them know about what you're doing and what your accomplishments that you're making and the growth. And then, each one teach one like this. But not to teach hate, not to teach fear. Okay, now I got to stay away from these people, or that's just how they are. Let's get them out of here. Let's get them out of our countries. Let's get them out of our continent. This is what you're trying to push? I don't know. Well, anyway, people, I went to 25 minutes. Maybe sometime I'll come back on this and try to go and bring you that proof that I want to. If not, I don't, then I don't. That's because I probably forgot. But I'm not gonna put too much precedence on this anymore. I'm not gonna be doing any more videos for a good while about this particular video. But one understanding again is that my position is Islam does not have nothing to do with the actions of Tippu and the people that was with him and the other so-called Muslim slave drivers that worked with him to do what they did. Any of this out of Saharan trade, slave trade that went on before the initial European slave trade, which was the worst of them all to our people, and the colonialization goes with that. We forget about that. That it's not just the slavery going this way to the west, taking the slaves to the west. In the continent, they stayed in the continent and established and stole land. And then in South Africa, there's clear proof the Afrikaners are still there. France, in the Franco countries, their presence today in colonialization at the worstest level, which dampens and suppresses the economies of these countries, pulls out the money and makes them pay back and sucking them dry almost. And they're trying to remove them now at this point. They're the worst. Remember that. We can't forget that. That's where our work is. Our work is disconnecting ourselves from dependence, disconnecting ourselves from being dependent of them, being mentally enslaved under them, having that mental slavery mentality of identity crisis, because you're this color and they're white and their color is better than ours, which is due to white supremacy. White supremacy is the actualization of the identity crisis that is being perpetuated through the African diaspora, let alone in the continent. All of the African diaspora. That's why a lot of the Africans that go from the continent till today go to a lot of the European countries because they think white is right. Right? No. No race is right, only the one that is more pleasing to the Creator. And there's none of us like that. The best of us is who we please Allah and do what is right and try to live righteously on this earth until we die. Because we're going to all die. And it's not going to matter what color, again, who we are. Crayons and Crayola. It's not going to matter. So that's all it comes down to. But again, Islam has nothing to do with it. It is free from these actions of these evil Muslims, or if they were Muslims or not. Allah knows best. And the people who was back there knew. And they were wayward for sure. Know that if they were Muslim. They were definitely wayward, bad apple type of Muslims. And may Allah, all I can say is Allah is going to deal with them. I can't even make dua for them in that manner. But, ultimately, for any of the Muslims that did wrongs, may Allah, and still today, may Allah have mercy on you. May Allah guide you, set your affairs straight, make you correct, and to treat every human being justly as He says in His Quran and the Prophet ﷺ brought. That's where Islam lies in those two things: Allah's word, the Quran, and the Prophet's guidance and way of how he implemented Allah's word. He didn't do this Tippu tip at all. There's no record. There's nothing to prove any of this, that the Prophet was like this and his companions in the early generations. Now, Muslims that followed after this and deviated and fell off and started doing all kinds of stuff, whatever they wanted to do, innovations and everything. Yeah, you get these wayward type of people. So know that. I know I made this video go a little longer than, but this is the last of it. And I hope that whatever you got, if you can watch the other parts of the video. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I wasn't attacking her as a person, but I was dealing with her in her content and what she's bringing, and to let her know that she needs to be responsible and be careful of doing these things, because it can cause backlash of violence and harm to Muslims, Arabs, and even us, African American Muslims or African Muslims in the continent. It's already going on. It's already happening. So we don't need any more of that fire. You know, we have to start learning. Once we say a thing, especially in social media, it gets imprinted. It's in there. It stays there. As long as the internet is up, YouTube is still around, or people shared it into other platforms, your videos and your statements are going to be there. So other people are going to know, and they're going to share it. You don't have to keep doing it over and over again. And I'm saying for all of you YouTuber content creators in this Afrocentric, African diasporan, Pan-Africanist, repatriation, African, black, whatever, black nationalist group of YouTubers that, or Egyptology, Kemetic, pro-Kemetic groups, all of you push, and the Muslims too, need to calm it down, change the direction, and the direction should be focused on building more, putting on how we're going to build, putting more emphasis on that than all this negative, because the negative is just bringing more negative. You can't keep drenching of people with rain of negativity and making them more heavy. All the rain is, they're drenched and they're heavy and they're wet, and they can't get through this. We have to get it. We got to make it through. We've been in the negativity from our ancestors on down to us. We don't need to have more continually coming down. Just give the word. If there's something you want to reveal it, and let's move on. Let's move on. Let's build. Let's get it going. Let's do it right this time. We look at the past and we learn from the past. This is from what we learn in the Quran. This is from what we learn from the Prophet. The past, why Allah spoke about the past and gave us what these things that happened in the past, even before when the Prophet was given prophethood. Allah spoke about things with other prophets and told him about that in the revelation of what happened to Moses, what happened to Jesus, what happened to other prophets before. Abraham, the children of Israel, all these struggles and stuff with the monotheist people in the earth against the non-monotheist people and others, whoever, right? Total atheists. They struggled, but when he told the prophet, he told this, and he told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam this so that you can know what to do in his present time and how he's supposed to act. Know who he's dealing with, the same kind of people from those times of the past. Like we try to talk about our ancestry, but your ancestry, if it wasn't correct, like Tippu Tip, he was an ancestor, then you got to correct it now, the present, and go into the future, inshallah, in a good way. Correct the mistakes. That's where our emphasis should be. Correcting the mistakes from the mental to the physical. But how you do that first is the spiritual. Establish that connection with the one who created the spirit. And then you can do everything else, little by little. That's what I've been doing. I'm true experience. I'm not just sitting here talking to you just to hear myself. I'm sitting from my actions that I'm daily, every day. That's why we make 5 times a day. We make prayers. And this is an action, is not no exercise, not just exercise or something. It's your exercise for your soul, your spiritual connection with your creator, to get you have that connection. Like a child with a father and a mother. They don't have a connection with their mother and father, they're going to be messed up. They're going to be dysfunctional. And if their parent is dysfunctional, they're going to be dysfunctional. But Allah is not this at all. He's beyond dysfunction. He is the function. He is the creator. He is the one who created what is functioning. So when you make your relationship strong with him, like some of the people, they say the father of creation, we understand that understanding. Not no literal terms. He begot a child. No, we know that. In Islam, we don't believe this. But he is the one who created everything. And he's the one who nurtures and guides and does all the things that we need to have. And then some. Some things we're not even able to give him enough praise because of what the things that he's done or he does in our life that we might not even expect, because if you believe, of course, that's number one. Boom. So we got to get right with him, and then get right with our mental state, get right with our physical bodies, how we eat, how we drink, how we move as individuals first. And then we can pass that to each other. Each one teach one, grow with it. And those who want to accept, those who don't, those who want to be the same way, stay in the hood, stay in the thug life and the ways and being trifling type, you can go that way. Go ahead, keep on going. Drown yourself like Noah's son and his wife, one of his wives, the first wife, before he got with the wife that went with him when that flood came in. You going down with them. You want to be with them? Go ahead. I'm not going to go with you. I'm not going to destroy myself. I'm going to save myself and then my family from the hellfire. I'm not going to try to be saving people out there that don't care about themselves first. Because if you don't care about yourself, straightening out yourself, how do you expect me to care about you? So she's trying to say, well, we got to get together, do this. Yeah, but not with dissension. Not with dissension. Come together on what's correct. That's number one, the worship of the Creator, Tawheed. Oneness of him, knowing he's only one and looking to him and asking him, to get yourself right and to get our people right. And once we get right, the whole world, everybody's going to look at it and say, they're right. And we, even while we was putting them down and destroying them and putting them down as the lowest of the low and doing what we did to them, they stood up and still got back on point. And now they're at the top. Because Allah graced you and gave you that. It says, and the last but not least to say, Allah will not change the condition of the people until they change that which is within themselves. Change themselves first, then he will start to change your condition. And then number one is with him. It lies with him first, and connecting with him, and then everything else. So thank you, brothers and sisters. Peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. I'm out. Stay in. Don't forget to click the like button. Share this video. Get it out. And subscribe if you haven't. Get with me. Stay in the loop. And then also comment. I'm still trying to get people to comment. I don't know. Maybe you fear talking to me. Don't fear me. I'm a nice guy. I'm a teddy bear. Matter of fact, that used to be my name, Teddy. Teddy bear. All right. So y'all take care. Peace. Are you ready? Let's get it.